Hello. Uh, I just put a new refill in my Fisher Space Pen. I don't know where the other one is. Anyway, this is a Fisher Space Pen. It's the original Astronaut pen, and I've had one, I think, since they first came out. I know, let's see. I know that I must have had, as soon as they came out, maybe not the first year or something, I don't know. I know in 1975, I know because I owned one. It's what I've owned all my life. Fisher Space Pen. It's marketed by Fisher Space Pen Company. It uses a pressurized ink cartridge, and it can write in zero gravity underwater and all kinds of stuff. I was working hospital security, I know, so I know I had one. Let's see, it says that they came out in 1965. So maybe I had it in 1965, I don't know. I'd have to kind of check, and I know I had it when I worked at Trinity Lutheran Hospital. I forget exactly when I started there. I'd have to look it up. But I've never had one break on me, but I have lost several of them. And I forget what happened to, I had one that I had it engraved. They will engrave it for you. I don't know if let's see. I'm not sure if the Amazon, if they offer that. Let's see. Here it is, by the way. You want to get the AG7. The Fisher Space Pen, the AG7, because they have a number of other models, of course this was a success for them. A big success for them. But then they've come out with other models that I think they still call some of them Fisher Space Pen. And maybe they went into space later on. I don't know about that. But one of the stories that's going around forever, I guess, since at some point when the Republican Party became so crazy, the story was going around that, and I forget the exact amount of money, but it was like, well, NASA, National Space Administration or whatever, they had pens made that the American astronauts took into space when they went, and it cost $1 billion, maybe it wasn't $1 billion that they said, but whatever the lie was, stupid lie, that it cost $1 billion. And what did the Russians do? The cosmonauts, they took a pencil into space, and it didn't cost, any money at all. Okay, not true. It did not cost $1 billion. It didn't cost the government $500,000. A private company made this pen. Let's see. Now I want to go back to a private company made this pen, the Fisher Space Pen. I love it. It works great, and like I've had it. I had one engraved with my name on it and my amateur radio call sign. So I was going to check and see if Amazon will do that for you. Let's see. Fisher Space Pen. Ships from, eligible for return. Now it's $71. This model, and this is the only one that I would have, because this is the original one. That, by the way, you know, the Republicans at some point, this became one of the things that they lie about everything. I mean, it's gotten worse over the years. I mean, it was bad a long time ago, but it has gotten worse over years. So, did the cosmonauts take a pencil into space? Yes, they did. They took a regular pencil, I guess made in the USSR pencil. They took it into space and they used it inside their capsule. And of course the pencil lead or whatever came off and was floating in the cabin with them. I don't know if that was a result of any of the losses that they've had in space, but it wasn't good. And the astronauts, I heard, later on, they went to the Fisher with the space pen. Of course, they might have come up and just, at some point decided to, manufacture their own. So, now I remember when I was working at Trinity Lutheran Hospital, sometimes in the 1970s, I had a Fisher space pen. I had to guard this thing with, a doctor or somebody would say, could I borrow your pen? I'd hand him my pen. I had to stay right there with them or follow them because they want, wow, they wanted it. And I remember that after a few years of me, having this pen and using it, where I worked, and that was Trinity also, the director of security had a cross, I think it was, pen. And then doctors had, and a bunch of people had it, and I'd be going through the hospital, and they'd, well, have you seen, the director of security, have you seen my cross pen I lost? And I thought, that must be really a great pen. That must be, a fantastic pen. And I thought, oh man, that must cost, that must cost a lot of money. And I don't know how much I never looked. But I do know that my pen was better. Let's see if, okay, I had that. Where is it now? Maybe this is the one. No. Is this it? Yeah. Okay, let's get you over here now. So I found out that it wasn't, I think I paid more for my pen, and people were crying, that they couldn't, I can't find my cross pen. So looks like they have a bunch of, but I think back then I think it was, okay, here's, cross pen for $20, cross classic, maybe that was it, for $43. Cross edge gel pen for, so they make a bunch of pens, and they're probably pretty good, but I got so tired of people saying, oh, I've lost my, cross pen. And then after a while I found out, well, so back to the Fisher space pen. Let's go to is it this? Nope, that's not it. Let's go here. Okay, the Fisher space pen from Wikipedia. The The Fisher space pen was created by an Austrian and expanded by Erwin Routh. I think I got that correct. Fisher invented the, I can't even pronounce, tritopopic special ink. The pens were manufactured in Boulder, Colorado, Nevada. The Fisher space pen, the AG7, was anti-gravity pen in 1965. I may have had one about that date. There are two prominent styles of the pen, the AG7, and I recommend that to you. The AG7, that's what I have now. A long, thin, retractable pen shaped like a common ballpoint and has the bullet pen, which is non-retractable, shorter, standard when capped. But full size, the cap is, then they go on talking about how long the fillers, The ballpoint is made from tungsten carbide and is precisely fitted in order to avoid leaks. The ink is forced by compressed nitrogen at a pressure of about 45 pounds per square inch. Operating temperatures are minus 30 degrees to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. The pen can operate without the help of gravity at any angle. The pen has an estimated shelf life of 100 years. I just had to put a refill in mine, and I don't know how long it's been over in a drawer over there, and it's working fine. Okay, uses in the U.S. and the Russian space program. An urban legend states that NASA spent a large amount of money to develop a pen that would write in space. The result purportedly being the Fisher space pen, while the Soviets just used pencils. In reality, NASA began to develop a space pen, but when development costs skyrocketed, the project was abandoned, and the astronauts went back to using pencils, along with the Soviets. However, the claim that NASA spent millions on the space pen is incorrect, and the Fisher space pen was developed using private capital, not government funding. The development of the ink cost Fisher around $1 million, and eventually the Soviets began purchasing such pens. Anyway, I'll put a link to this. I'm going to put a link to, I think I may put it, since this is something that all my life I think I'm going to put a link to this on my, Howard's Notebook, Show Me blog, whatever it is here on YouTube. I think it's going to be like a permanent thing because I've been a big fan of this, and I've used it. I've used it in cold weather, and I've used it in hot weather, and I've used it in all kinds of situations. And, I'd be in the emergency room sometime. One place I worked, we switched every 2 hours. That was Research Medical Center. We'd go to a different post. When I was in the emergency room, a lot of times the paramedics would come in, maybe even a police officer or somebody, and ask if they could borrow my pen, and I'd hand it to them, and they go, "Wow, this is nice. Where did you get this?" So definitely something that I can highly recommend. It is expensive. I think it's more expensive because they have others that are cheaper, but I think it's because, this is the original, and so I think that's the reason. Like I said, I lost a few. Never had one break. I think pretty much if one break would break on you, I think they would replace it or do something or other. Because I saw something about that someplace. I mean, I guess not if you took and smashed it with a hammer or did something, you know, like that. But if it, so. How long have I been talking here? 15 minutes. That's about right. I may use this as like a commercial someplace. You know. So let me go back here. $71 right now. Amazon, I don't think. Well, I can understand. I don't think they want you to mention the price of an object or something because the price is going to be, you know, maybe different when you purchase it. And but anyway, Fisher Space Pen, all brass, steel construction, hard chrome patterning, pocket clip, tungsten carbide ballpoint tip, used on NASA Apollo shuttle missions, International Space Station, Everest North Face, ski expedition. Let's see. Like I said, works in minus 30 Fahrenheit to 250 Fahrenheit. In Texas, I think we're almost at 250. The secret. I'm going to put a link to all this in. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll put a link to the Fisher Space Pen. I recommend it.